Hey guys, Broskis here. You may know me from the MultiVersus community. My most notable win has been 5th at EVO with my brother Oops here, Superman main. So this is my first video of hopefully many on this channel, so thanks for watching. Well, if you didn't know, in MultiVersus I main Velma. Very popular in the start of the open beta, she gained a spotlight as one of the most played characters at EVO, as well in the top ladder of teams matchmaking. So today I'll be giving you a guide on how to play Velma, going through the basics of her moves and how to use them. We'll talk about some of her test team comps currently in the meta and the best perks to use. And after we get into it, we'll do some basic combos, some setups, and move on to some more advanced stuff like her neutral game, some good movement tech, and some harder to do combos, and some other stuff I can think of. So, Velma's passive is Snoopin'. I'm sure you know about the cop car that will drag you to your death, but basically during the map, little evidence pieces will spawn. They'll pop up around the map, random spots, and also some of Velma's moves spawn evidence. Velma and her ally can pick up the evidence, and after 5 pieces of evidence, the meter will be full. You can see under her health bar right there. There's a little evidence piece right here too. It goes away after a short period of time, so make sure you pick it up quick. So after 5 pieces of evidence have picked up, you can call a police car to pick up the closest enemy to you. The cop car has only 18 health, so it can be destroyed. So if you got to protect it. If it reaches its target, it'll stun them, and after a few seconds, it'll go ahead and drive off the blast zone. Sometimes it does jumps and catches them right away. Anytime you die, though, your cop car resets. So, if you do get it, you want to make sure you put it down. Definitely let your teammate be aware how much evidence you need when you play. Big thing about placing the cop car is you want to make sure you place it in a safe spot. Generally, the cop will spawn behind you, so be careful not to spawn it off stage. Otherwise, it'll just fall off. Best time to spawn a cop car is when you win neutral real quick. Cop car does have, when you spawn it, does have a decent recovery time. She points out who the enemy is, and then she can move. So it does allow you to get punished. That's why you want to make sure you get some space before you do it. Her first move, the neutral attack, this is probably her most complicated move to explain, but one of the more easier ones to use. Velma's first word she shouts is hey. In teams, this word will always attempt to hit your teammate, but in singles, it'll just go in a straight line. Even though my enemy's right in front of me, it turns around and goes to the teammate. It does no knockback or damage. If it hits your teammate, they receive a quick 3-second movement speed buff, and it also marks them. If an enemy gets hit, they get marked, but it has no additional side effects. They just get marked. Lastly, if the hey hits like a platform or stage, it'll leave a little ellipsis word bubble. Anybody can go pick it up besides Velma, enemies, teammates, and then they become marked. Once there is a target mark, your next time you use the ability, you start throwing some word bubbles out. These word bubbles are pretty strong. They have decent damage and knockback, and they home towards whoever's marked. So if an enemy is marked, the words go to the enemy, and if your teammate's marked, they'll go towards the team. While flying towards a target, they can hit any friendly or enemy target as well. My enemy's marked and it hits my teammate, it'll hit my teammate instead. Also, I get healed every time a word hits my teammate. So if my teammate gets hit with a word, I get healed for 4 HP. It kind of adds up. If you do it over and over again, you can heal up to 12 HP per full ammo. You only can have one marked target, and once a target is marked, your hay goes on cooldown. So it'll go away. You can't hay anybody else right now. Honestly, the move is not as complicated as it seems. You press the move and it auto locks. Common misplay is to sit still and throw your move. If you jump forward and use neutral attack, you will keep some of your forward momentum as well as stall and float in the air. And again, her neutral attack on the ground is the same as on the air. Now, we're going to go on to her side attack. This thing is it's pretty simple. It's a triple side jab combo. So the whole jab combo isn't always true. You'll get 1 and 2 always linking into each other. But jab 3 is not true usually ever, especially if they're on the outer side of your jab. They'll typically be able to dodge out of it. But if you're on the inside, you'll hit the third jab almost every time. Third one will be dodged out almost every time, or they'll DI out of it. I really like to only use the full jab if I'm off stage because it adds just a big old hitbox, cover the ledge with my teammate, or in the middle of a dog pile. Typically, I cancel out of the second hit. But yeah, that's it for jab. Jab's really simple. There's side air. It's called light 'em up. You pull out the flashlight. It's a charged aerial move that has a cone-like hitbox. Very good and fast, especially if you don't charge it. Think as your flashlight is a good get off me or a good engagement tool. You can land this move pushing forward to gain advantage, or you can retreat with it to keep enemies off you while backing off. Even when in an attack decay, this move is still pretty good. This move spawns evidence. No matter what, this move always shines bright. You know what I mean? Huh? Velma's grounded up attack is a charge move. Sends a big old light bulb over her head. It's a great move to catch enemies landing on top of you, as well as send enemies on the ground into the air for your teammate. Up air, really similar to the grounded move. It does a light bulb, except you can't charge it. You really want to use the up air with your combined jumps to catch enemies or, you know, run them out of their resources. The hitbox is pretty big when it pops out. Both the grounded and the up air have a chance to spawn evidence. For the grounded attack, this one is called Calculated Victory. She whips out her calculator. It's probably one of her most underutilized moves in the kit, especially for me. It's a charge move that holds out a big old projectile in front of you. It comes in two shapes and sizes. You got a small little oval solve that comes out really quick and at least 50% charge. You'll get a big old calculator. It's much bigger. Doesn't really have a lot of kill power, but it has a lot of applications. You can hit it on your teammate to give a brief 1-second armor buff to them, and it does moderate damage and knockback. I would think to use it mostly in scuffles so you can avoid getting hit. Will spawn evidence as well. Make sure you pick it up. Down air is much different than her ground attack. It is a down air spike. If you charge that bad boy, it stays out there. Sometimes I feel like I've dunked people and I didn't even hit them. It's crazy. You can hit people off stage with it, which is really nice. At higher percents, you can even kill people off the top. So onto her special moves. That's it for her attacks. Her neutral special, fairly simple. The infamous megaphone, the sniper, I like to call it. I feel like I'm playing Call of Duty. So Velma shoots out a really long beam. It's a projectile, and it must be fully charged to get its full effect. Hitting the final hit will apply 1 stack of weaken and send them flying. The second part of the move is actually hitting a teammate with it. So if I hit my teammate with the beam, a new beam emits from my teammate. It's stronger, applies 2 stacks of weaken, and it hits them even harder. It can be aimed up and down. It's an amazing move to catch enemies off stage when they're trying to recover. The side special, probably one of my favorite moves to use with Velma. I'm not even going to lie. It allows her teammates to get picked up for a quick armor buff, get 6 great health to both her and her teammate. If she doesn't pick up a teammate, she can run into an enemy and pick them up. While she has somebody in her hands, she acts like a battering ram. The move's great to get kills at high percent as well, but use it wisely because you can get punished pretty easy. I mean, obviously they see you running. They know what the hell you're doing. Her air side special, she opens up a book and it pushes her in the opposite direction of what you aim. And you can use this move to kill enemies, and you can also use it for some movement if you're off stage. Her up special. Anyway, I dropped some goop on the ground. The goop continuously freezes enemies that are standing in it. They will rack up ice as long as they're in it. If I've got a good knack of when somebody's coming in to attack me, if I preemptively drop the ice where I was, they're going to land on the ice. They'll get punished for pushing onto me. Generally, I find the best placements to be are like a good 1.5 squares away from the ledge. Her air up special is called Shutterbug. Very scary move in the past, still scary now, but definitely has had some shortcomings. She takes a shot of her camera and applying 2 stacks of weaken on hit. This move is extremely good for spiking. And lastly, her down special. She throws a big old book that flies towards her teammate, straightforward in singles, so it won't follow anybody. The book will cleanse Velma instantly and give her 50% of her cooldown over 8 seconds. If the teammate is hit by the book, again, they will be cleansed and also have their cooldown reduced by 50% over 8 seconds. The book will not break until 1, it hits terrain. 2, if it passes through a teammate and then hits an enemy. The cooldown portion is huge. It allows heavy cooldown characters to pair well with Velma. That's it for all of her abilities and specials. Now we'll go into some team comps for Velma. Some of the better teammates are going to be heavy cooldown characters. You can practically pick anybody with Velma and you'll be pretty great. Some of the higher win rate comps are Iron Giant Velma. A comp that I run with my brother is Superman and Velma. Bugs and Velma. This was a huge comp. Again, you could try out anybody with Velma. I think Tom and Jerry Velma is fantastic. Perks are pretty simple. You can either do the studied, which I prefer now. Studied allows you to spawn with 1 piece of evidence already. So you get 1 out of the 5. Knowledge is power. Makes it so if your teammate picks up your evidence for you, they'll get some gray health. A lot of people like to lean on triple jump. Triple jump is phenomenal. It's great for advantage and disadvantage, allowing you to escape near death or get high and catch an enemy off guard when they think you're out of resources. Most Velmas are using ice to beat you and some cooldown perks. Another great perk is School Me Once, with projectile meta being really good. Lastly, the CoffeeZilla being a consistent 10%. The crazy thing about Velma, she really doesn't have the craziest combos. Most of them end up being loops where you can, camera to down air people. I'm able to spam that. It's so much fun to do, I will not lie. Basic combos are going to be word bubble combos. You can hit people with a word bubble into up air or forward air. Doesn't really have a lot of high damage racking combos besides this loops, I'll be honest with you. At higher percents, they won't be able to get looped, and you'll have to finish it off with like an up air. You get down into up air, you can jab, jab, up smash. Jab, up smash is the way to go when it comes to combos. Again, nothing too ridiculous with Velma. Most of your combos per se are going to be great projectile placement. Nothing is really true besides the loops and like some jab, jab combos and your word combos. So most of it's going to be based off of follow-ups, like laser follow-ups and stray hits with your forward air. Once you get a good feel of how her moves work, you can string up things on your own. Stalling off stage. The down air is amazing for stalling. Definitely utilize it. Another way to stall is with Nair, your normal attack. It's a good way to use it. It applies a ton of hitboxes on the way down. You know, use it to cover your ass. Velma is very intuitive. When you call the cop, it'll target whoever's closest to you. Should target Harley here. As you can see, it runs after Harley, stuns her up, and sayonara. Velma also has a passive where she can crawl in the ground, get it under a bug safe or a bug's rocket. Velma's toolkit makes her shine really bright as a support, allowing her to hit enemies from far away with projectiles, as well as being able to box up close, healing her and her teammate whenever she can with her cooldowns, and giving a vast majority of cooldowns to her teammate back. Being able to slow enemies and freeze them is a great tool as well in game. I think she's great. Even after some of her nerfs, Velma still stands at the top of the tier list. And I guess that's it for the Velma guide. Subscribe if you want to see any more content like this. I'm hoping to do a little bit more YouTube content. Thanks again for watching. Sayonara.